name is Douglas Henry. I'm Dean of the Honors College here at Baylor. I want to join my welcome to that you've received from others, extending to you a hospitable hand of greeting as you bring sons and daughters here to join us at Baylor and in the Honors College and in the Honors Residential College in particular. We are genuinely glad to have you as part of our collegial community. We know you love these young men and women you have brought here to our campus in Waco. We know that you have high hopes for them, and we know that these dreams are probably accompanied by various anxieties about the weeks and months and years ahead of their education. All of these things are in various ways true of us too. We cherish these students, knowing they're made in the image and likeness of God. We expect great things of them, knowing they were created to share in a goodness that is conferred on us by God and that calls us to give ourselves to bold visions and significant callings, and will trouble ourselves to help them become everything they may by God's grace in Christ become. To these things we're committed. On this day and at this time, the outset of a new semester, I'm mindful of two special virtues that help us in all of these respects. One is humility, and the other is magnanimity. Two great virtues which undergird and make sense of, orient us to the kind and caliber of intellectual life and community to which we aspire at Baylor. Humility is that virtue which empties us of the pride that stands in the way of genuine learning. Humility which brings us close to the earth and attentive to the ways in which we need things we don't have. We're dependent on others in ways we can't always fathom, and in which we should and ought and must avail ourselves of wisdom that comes from without our own awareness and consciousness. Magnanimity, on the other hand, that virtue which bespeaks a greatness of soul that doesn't shrink from difficult work, that in fortitude stays the course through thick and thin, always looking toward the possibility latent within us to be something we have not yet fathomed, but which we may, through steadfast effort and the Lord's goodness, accomplish. Humility on the one hand, magnanimity on the other. Two great virtues, two exemplary practices, two bellwethers by which we can mark our progress through the intellectual work that lies ahead of us. These things, too, we pledge to exemplify and model for your students, help them to incorporate into their own lives, and benefit from as they undertake their studies from art history to biology, from organic chemistry to political science, from engineering or computer science to marketing, from philosophy to sociology and everything in between. We enjoin and encourage and cheer them on, doing so with care at every turn for their best good. Again, please know how delighted we are to have them with us. Please know how deeply we care for their well-being and will work hard to accomplish it in this, our Honors College, and in this, the residential community that is a particular icon of our excellence. Godspeed and blessings be upon you.
Hello, my name is Jason Whitt, and I serve as faculty steward for the Honors Residential College. This is normally a welcome I would give following a long day of moving in at a reception in your honor as you prepare to say goodbye to your sons and daughters who are just beginning their journey at Baylor. But this year's move-in, like so much else in 2020, will of necessity look different than years past. And so I'll offer my welcome by video, though in the hopes of meeting you next week during the days of move-in. As faculty steward, I live in residence with my family in the HRC. Like it will be for your students, the HRC is home for us. My job officially is to connect the residential life in the halls with the academic life of the university. But I am of the conviction that the role of steward asks more. I, along with the HRC staff, am here to share life with those in our community, to help them discover who they are called to be a sounding board, a source of wisdom, hopefully of encouragement, a mentor, and a friend. The HRC is committed to fostering in our students a love of God, a love of neighbor, and a love of learning, all within a community of friends. These loves go hand in hand. I cannot love God well and not likewise love my neighbor. Even more, my love for God and neighbor may be stunted and distorted if I fail to love learning and so seek the truths of God's creation. Learning isn't just amassing information, but it's a seeking of what is good and true and beautiful in all of God's creation through all those means: literary, philosophical, scientific, economic, artistic, musical, and all the other ways that we learn here at Baylor. To this end, our theme this year in the HRC is cultivating character. The staff, community leaders, and student leadership teams will be planning events and activities that offer chances to reflect on the virtues, moral, spiritual, and intellectual, that shape us to be the people we are made to be, and to create opportunities for those in our community to ingrain those habits of character into their lives. This theme will weave through our formation lecture series, symposia gatherings, hall events, worship and prayer, engagement with faculty mentors, and the variety of activities planned by our leadership teams: the social team, academic team, fifth floor service team, spiritual life team, and PR team. This year will look different. We won't be able to have many of the larger events that we have had in the past. Yet we also see this as an opportunity. We're excited about how we can use virtual gatherings to introduce our students to scholars, thinkers, and artists that we might not be able to get at the HRC otherwise. We will make community dinners, talent shows, and toasties, our big grilled cheese night, virtual events where community can still happen. But not all will be virtual. We're going to be creative in the ways in which we foster community and help our incoming students form solid friendships with others in the HRC. Through smaller hall activities, opportunities to connect with suite mates, and through creating family groups of new students led by upperclassmen, our aim, as always, is to create the community of friends that can walk alongside one another and encourage each other in moral, spiritual, and intellectual growth. We recognize each year that when families move their sons and daughters into this community, that they are entrusting us with incredibly precious treasures. This year, in the midst of a pandemic, and with all the uncertainty that accompanies it, there's an extra measure of trust involved. Know that we honor that trust, and we don't do so lightly. We also know that you've poured into these young men and women your love, your energy, and your dedication to bring them to this point in their lives. We pledge to be faithful to the investment that you have made in their lives, and to be mindful that we have a great privilege in building upon that foundation that you've laid. This community will endeavor to be a home and a family away from home for them as they step out now into this next stage of their journey of life. I look forward to life with your students as they embark upon this journey at Baylor. Thank you for the privilege of sharing them with us.